Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. Well, this is the Q&A that we posted on the channel a month ago and also yesterday because we'd been asked loads of questions about Man City Fan TV, our thoughts on certain things, and so what we decided to do was actually put a video out, and we got loads and loads of questions, and so many that we're going to have to put it into maybe 3 parts, and we don't want to get it to 4, but it's going to have to go into 3 parts because there were questions for Ray, there were questions for me specifically, and so yeah. So this is the first part. Ray answered I think 3 or 4 questions. So what we'll do is I'll answer a few, and Ray will answer a few, and then we'll put this out, and then tomorrow we'll put out part 2, and then followed by part 3, etc. And if it has to go to a part 4, then it has to, because people are still actually sending in questions now. So anyway, let's crack on. And some of the questions are about Man City, about football, some are personal, some are about me and Ray and whatever else, and we'll be as honest as we can. So I'll start off. Let's have a look at the first question. We haven't looked at these questions, by the way, and specifically what I wanted to do was just look at them off the hoof, basically. So rather than sort of try and prepare answers and things like that, I thought it'd be better if we're honest and just read the question and see what comes out. So anyway, let's have a look. First question. This is from Gabriel Michael, and this was via Twitter, and his Twitter handle is @GMFootballFC, and he asks, where did you guys grow up? Well, I'm sure Ray will probably answer that, but myself, I grew up in Wythenshawe, specifically Woodhouse Park, in the 70s, and a long time ago. Not the nicest of places to grow up in, but I had some wonderful friends, and it was a proper working class council estate, biggest council estate I think at the time in Europe, and it was just, you only knew what you knew, and that was it. And there was lots of rivalries within sort of like the Wythenshawe estate, etc., with Benchill and Newhall Green and others. So it was that's where I grew up, Woodhouse Park, Cranham Road, just next to the motorway, which now has a bridge going across the motorway just before, if you're coming from Manchester, just before you turn off to go to the airport. And literally I lived right on the motorway, and across the way was like a little bit of sort of green area, some bushes, and then it was the drop down into the motorway, and that green area is where I played football and on the street every single night, every minute of the day I could possibly play. So I'm a Woodhouse Park boy through and through. Left there at 17, moved away, and been a nomad ever since. But I've been in sort of Chester for the last sort of 15 years. So that's where I call home now, even though I've lived all over the world with my job. And but I'm a proud Withy boy at heart.
Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan TV. Well, here's our question and answer session, and I'll get straight into it. And first question for me is from Chris John, and he asks, how long will Pep stay at the club? Well, it's well known that Pep doesn't hang around too long. I mean, he did 4 years at Barca, 3 years at Bayern, and he had a year's sabbatical in between, and he's now into his 3rd year at City. He originally signed a 3-year contract. He's already done a 1-year extension, I think, so he'll be for at least 4 years, hopefully. I mean, he can always leave early. But my feeling is, at City right now, in terms of the support he gets from the board, in terms of moral support, financial support, and any other support he wants, there is no better club in the world than Manchester City. He eventually had to leave Barcelona because of the pressure there, the fighting in the background between people who were only interested in their own political stroke football management careers, football board careers. The people who were on the board at Barcelona, there were a lot of issues, and you just don't need that sort of outside pressure. You've got enough going on the pitch. That's where your pressure should be. Your pressure should be to perform, to get your team to perform and get your players coming through, the young kids and whatever. And I think it was way too much in the end. And at City right now, he's got everything. He's got, a very supportive owner in Sheikh Mansour, Khaldoon Al Mubarak, one of the best chairmen you could wish for. He's got a great group of guys around him, the best academy facilities anywhere, best training facilities, recuperation facilities, all sorts of stuff. Everything that you could want to make something perfect is in place at City. But also you got to sometimes wonder that sometimes when something gets too perfect, is that too perfect? Is it too much? Is it too good? And how long can you accept that? I mean, sometimes, because maybe you want to challenge yourself again. So I can't see him staying for 10 years because I just can't see it. Just way beyond him. I think he's still got other ambitions. He's got other ideas, other objectives and goals and targets. He mentioned he might go to Italy. You could see him, would he take over the Spanish national team? Who knows? But right now, be glad with what we've got. I hope he signs for a bit longer. I hope we can get him to stay for 5 or 6 years. But if he only stays 4 years, I'll take that because the revolution he's brought to our club and the Premier League is it's enormous. It's fantastic, and we've been the greatest benefactors of that.
So next question. Let's have a look. The Football Fan Chat said, does Andy like Ray's sunglasses? Yeah, I love Ray's sunglasses. He's got an amazing array of sunglasses, though he's only worn one pair for the last week or so, so I'm a bit concerned what's happened to the others. But yeah, I mean, Ray's a colourful character. He likes his sunglasses and gets lots of chatter on the YouTube channel about it. So his next question was, best player ever that's played for any club apart from Manchester City? Wow. God, like I said, this is off the hoof. I'd have to say, going back to the Arsenal team of the likes of Vieira and Bergkamp and Thierry Henry, they were a great team. There's no doubt about it. And I think Thierry Henry brought something that was completely different to the Premier League that we'd ever seen, and amazing goal scorer. Wonderful player. But then you've got the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, who was a footballing genius, and we see some of the stuff today by David Silva, Bernardo Silva and the like, and reminiscent of what Bergkamp was like. He was a wonderful player. So I'd like to say City players, but I don't know, outside of City, thinking of others, I don't know. Those are the two players that sort of spring to mind, who were, you had Gianfranco Zola and others, but I think Bergkamp I really enjoyed watching, as well as Thierry Henry. What a player. Brilliant, absolute brilliant. So those are my sorry it's two, but they're the only two I can really that springs to mind.
Next question from Pat Ina. Not to be that guy who puts a downer on our current success, but what do you think the club are doing to plan for the inevitable time St. Pep of St. Pedor will leave the club? We're a team completely built in his image. It's said we even started buying players with his seal of approval in readiness for his arrival. we'll hopefully continue to fill our trophy cabinet with his brand of football until he does leave us. But something at the back of my mind worries about the immediate era post-Pep. The lack of continuity at the Rags post-Ferguson has been a joy to watch. But is there a danger we'll end up like them? Okay, long question from Patina. My feeling is, as long as we keep Sheikh Mansour and Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, as long as they're around, I don't think it's going to matter too much of who the manager is. And let me explain that. I don't think you're going to get better than Pep. But you've got to look at what legacy he left Barcelona. So Pep was there for 4 years, 2008 to 2012. And what I'm going to do now is compare what he won in the competitions that they were eligible for, and what the subsequent Barcelona managers have won in the, I think it's 6 years since Pep has not been at Barcelona. So let's start off with La Liga titles. Pep won 3 La Liga titles in his 4 seasons with Barcelona. Since Pep's gone, in 6 seasons, they've won 4 La Liga titles. I'm sure you'd take that. The Copa del Rey, I think it's that equivalent to their FA Cup. In Pep's 4 years, he won 2 Copa del Reys, 2 out of 4. And since he's left, they've won 4 out of 6. I think we'd take that as well. The Supercopa de España, I'm guessing that's equivalent to our Community Shield. Pep won 3. Subsequently, the other managers have won 3 as well. Champions League, Pep won 2 out of 4. Fantastic. And since then, they've won 1 out of 6, only a couple of years ago. So 1 out of 6, still, right now we'd take that as well. The Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup, Pep won 2 UEFA Super Cups, obviously just after they won the Champions League, the season after they won the Super Cup. And since then, they've won 1. And the Club World Cup, you can only enter if you win the Champions League. They won the Champions League twice. Following season, enter the Club World Cup. They've won that twice. And subsequently, they've won it once. So only once in 6 seasons. But they've only won the Champions League once, so they could only enter it once. So I think you can see, although the level isn't such a high standard as when Pep was there, the level is still very good because they've got that continuity, I think, in the board and the club and everything else. And look, I'm just going to tot it up: 8, 11, 14 trophies in the 6 years since Pep left. Fantastic. If Pep left tomorrow and we had 6 subsequent years, if we could win a trophy a season, I think we'd be happy. I mean, Pep's only won 2 in 2 years at City. It's nothing remarkable yet, but I think the legacy he will leave is going to be fantastic. But I think that's going to be down to what the current players have learnt under him, the young kids, what they've learned, the players he's bought, and that stability coming from the board with Khaldoon and Sheikh Mansour.
Let's have a look here. Aaron Talks City via YouTube said, who would you say is the best player ever for Man City? Well, you all know me. If you've watched the videos before, there's only one player for me, and that's David Silva. I was fortunate to see the older team of 77, which was the first year I went to watch Manchester City as a 7-year-old kid. Didn't really see Colin Bell, which was a big regret for me. But we've seen plenty of other players come and go. Saw the likes of Georgie King-Clancy, who was unbelievable skills. We've seen Ali Benarbia and others, but I don't think there's been anyone that just has done for Man City what David Silva has done for Man City. He's not only a wonderful player, he's a wonderful person, plays the game in the right way, the right spirit, and will definitely go down as a Manchester City legend. And to the extent, for me personally, the day that he leaves will be a very, very sad day, and I'll no doubt shed a tear that day because what a legend, what an absolutely incredible player that's graced the Premier League for so many years. So for me, mate, it's David Silva.
Next question from Dawn Wyman. and her question is, do you think Sterling will sign a new contract? Well, I've done quite a few videos over the summer, and since the summer really, about this contract situation. And my feeling is, the longer it goes on without being resolved, the riskier it is to City. And I'm going to give you an example. I was reading today about Aaron Ramsey. He's in his last year of his contract at Arsenal. Now, Arsenal have pulled the contract off the table. There's no contract available to Aaron Ramsey right now. So even if he wanted to sign it, he can't sign it because it's not offered to him. Now, there's talk that Arsenal want to sell him in January for about 25 million quid. Now, I'm guessing they feel his real value is probably 40 to 50 million quid, but they'll get what they can in January. But reading today, Aaron Ramsey is going to turn around and say, no, I'm not going to leave, and you're not going to force me out, because only 6 months later, he can go for a free. He can go on a free, and a lot of the £25 million transfer fee that Arsenal could have got in January, he'll get in his own pocket, or with him and his agent, as a signing on bonus. Now, if you say Aaron Ramsey's worth 40 million in a transfer right now, any team getting him on a free would feel they've saved 40 million quid, and they should be quite happy to pay him and his agent about 20 million quid, because they're still saving 20 million quid. They're getting a guy very cheap. So it's the same with Raheem Sterling. Now, if we were to look at it and say Raheem Sterling's going to cost us £100 million to replace, whatever numbers we want to choose, 60 to 100 million, whatever. The same is going to apply to Raheem. And I strongly feel that if we get to next summer without having an agreement in place, he's not going to let himself be sold, because he's just going to sit back and say, well, I'm 24, or his agent will tell him, you're 24, Raheem, if you let your contract wind down, even if they don't let you play, you're just going to miss 1 year's football, and at the end of it, you'll get 50 million quid as a signing on bonus. That's going to shake people's heads up. I mean, he's on less than £200,000 a week. It's a bit vulgar to talk about massive sums of money, but let's do it. He's on about less than 200 grand a week, so he's only earning about 9 million quid a year. Now, someone wants to say to him, we'll offer you 50 million as a signing on bonus, but you won't play football in any meaningful way for a year. If that's what's going to motivate you, there's always going to be a certain amount of money that will motivate people to do certain things. And I think 50 million quid, is that enough motivation? Could well be. So will he sign a new contract? Honestly, don't know. It's up to City. City can look at it and say, look, if we have to replace him, it's going to cost us. We can see the prices going up and up. We've paid 60 million quid for Mahrez. You can argue who's the best. Right now, Sterling's the better of the two. To get someone better than Sterling, or equivalent to Sterling, it's going to cost us 80, maybe even 100 million quid. And City might just turn around and say, look, it's going to mess us up a bit, but let's load it towards success. So let's give him a bit more money now. Let's get it to 220, 230. £230,000 a week, but let's load it and say, if you're successful, if you score this many goals, or win the Ballon d'Or, or win the Champions League, we're going to absolutely load it up so you can get 400 grand a week. Now, that might be enough to make him sign a new contract, but as I said, the longer it goes on without a new contract being signed, the more worried I become.
Couple of quick ones for this part one. Who will win the Premier League and the Champions League this season? That's from Semper Liber, who always comments on the videos below on the YouTube channel below the videos. So who will win the Premier League? I think it'll be Man City. I think it'll be a lot closer. I think Liverpool and Chelsea in particular. I think Arsenal are doing well, but I think City, we've got the best squad. We've got the best squad of players. We've been there, we've done it recently. We've got the best manager in the world in Pep Guardiola, and I think consistently over 38 games, I think we'll prevail again, and that'll be some achievement. It's been a long time, nearly 10 years, since a Premier League team has retained the Premier League title. So for me, it's always the Premier League over the Champions League. So I think City will do it this year. It'll be close. I'll say about 5 points or so for us to be title winners. But it's going to be close. It's going to be a close run thing. There are teams that have significantly caught us up, but I still think we're so far ahead that'll make the difference. As for the Champions League, it's a cup competition. I mean, who knows? We saw with the Liverpool games with us last season. You need everything going your way in that competition over 2 legs, referees' decisions, offsides, etc. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Bayern Munich do well this year. So if I had somebody gave me a tenner and said, shove it on a team, I think I'll put my money on Bayern Munich. But let's hope we go far. If we get to the semis or the final, it'll be a massive achievement. So for me, Bayern Munich. And the last one for part 1. You travel overseas a lot for business. Are you an international arms dealer? This was from Pat Ina INA on YouTube. No, Pat, I'm not an international arms dealer. I do travel overseas all the time, as you've seen in the videos where I've been recently, and I had 3 weeks in Lithuania. Then last week I was in Sofia in Bulgaria, and Saturday I fly off to Baku in Azerbaijan. Get back from there, and then I go back to Bulgaria. So I guess if I was an arms trader, I'd be going to different places. I'm not sure there's a big need for firearms, RPGs, surface-to-air, missiles, whatever, manpads, in places like Sofia, Lithuania and Azerbaijan. But I do travel to some very interesting places where firearms sometimes are necessary. But anyway, this is the end of part 1. Hope you enjoyed it. This is only from Man City Fan TV. Don't forget to subscribe. We're desperate for those 4,000 followers and subscribers on the channel. You can click below the red icon, and let's get those before the derby. And look out for part 2, which will come tomorrow. And also one last thing, please don't forget David White's charity gig in Manchester on the 9th of November for Safe Association with Paul Stewart and Ian Ackley. Tickets are still available, so go over and contact those guys or contact us here at the channel. It's £99 for a team of 6, and that includes 6 free drinks. It's going to be held at the 235 Casino in Manchester on the 9th of November. But anyway, Sandy from Man City Fan TV. Look forward to answering some more of your questions tomorrow. We'll see you soon.